Dark Gathering is an anime I didn't really have any expectations for, as I am not a huge fan of horror anime. But this series has genuinely surprised me with how enjoyable it is. That largely comes from the fact that this series isn't horror in the way most people think of horror, with all of the jump scares and the stuff that I absolutely hate. This series is more just creepy, which still sets the tone for the series, but it also makes it so that a pussy like me can watch this series without any problems and still enjoy it a lot. So if you are someone like me who can't handle horror very well, then I recommend giving this a shot, as it isn't the type of horror you usually see here in the West. It is more of a vibe type thing, so watch it because it's good. This anime covers a lot of dark themes, which I guess is obvious given the nature of the series, but there's so much we get to see. Firstly, this series covers depression and loneliness quite well with the MC. The fact that he is scared to interact with people and get them involved with his mess is pretty realistic, but he also wants to make friends and not be alone anymore. He has had a pretty rough time in life and is just trying to live with the people he cares about. But he is someone who attracts these supernatural beings to him and he doesn't want to get people involved. But he finally has someone who can fight off these creatures and may be able to help him get rid of the curse, which will help him live a more normal life in the future like he wants. This series shows many different ways of handling trauma as well, which I think is really cool. The MC is someone who is scared of getting close to people in fear that he is going to get them hurt again for something that he can't control. Yayoi is someone who fights to find what is important to them, and Eiko is someone who clings to people who feel she needs her to a very creepy degree. All of the characters have been through some shit, and each one of them doesn't really do a good job at coping with their issues at first until they meet up with each other. Each one of them hanging out and hunting ghosts and spirits together has actually helped each one of them in their own ways, mostly Yayoi and the MC, but Eiko as well a little bit. There are so many twists throughout this anime that you don't really expect when you're watching it. Like, I don't know if I'm just stupid or I didn't notice, but the reveal that Eiko having the same curse as the MC was insane to me because I never even noticed that she wore gloves to hide her hands. That could just me being stupid, but there are other insane twists throughout the anime as well that you just never see coming from both Eiko and Yayoi. Yayoi being revealed to be the person who tortures these spirits and ghosts into submission was not something I expected, but something that I think made the series so much more interesting. There's one twist about Eiko that I don't want to spoil, but I will say that it is a pretty good idea to stay away from crazy because oh boy is she crazy. Like, not yandere levels of crazy, but she still has this vibe about her that you don't really notice at first, but makes so much sense after the reveal. The twists are a large reason why I love watching this anime each and every week. Along with the twist, this anime does a really good job at setting things up and paying off that setup. There are already a lot of things that have been set up in the story that makes for some really great moments. Like a lot of the twists throughout the series, when you look back on them, there is a lot of setup to pay them off. And when we start jumping into certain spiritual events, we get a solid setup of something that is going to go down very quickly and that it is going to be bad. The way the series sets things up is great and makes the whole anime a million times better. This anime is really dark, but it's surprisingly really funny as well. Yayoi is unhinged, which makes her pretty funny. The MC just walks into shit all the time, and Eiko just eggs Yayoi on, which just makes it even funnier. This series knows how to strike a good balance between comedy and seriousness that just makes this series a blast to sit through. Dark Gathering is unmatched in its dark humor, and I massively respect that, as I have never seen another anime go this hard on the dark humor route while also keeping a really good and compelling story going. So this is another reason to watch this anime if you are hesitant because of the horror, because it is just really funny. The supernatural stuff in this anime is quite solid. I like the way they describe abilities and what Yayoi is doing. The spirits are creepy, but interesting overall. The series knows how to do supernatural stuff really well. Like, the stories behind the spirits kinda hooks you in and sets you up for some great supernatural fun. We get to see talismans and other weird abilities that make the series have some solid action. The supernatural stuff is something that absolutely carries the show outside of the comedy and the good characters. Speaking of the characters in this anime are all really good. They all have unique personalities that make them stand out and make them very fun to watch. There are only 3 characters who are even worth bringing up, as the rest of the characters are one-line characters that don't really do anything except for one character. But anyway, let's get talking about these characters, starting with the MC. He's probably my least favorite character, of no fault of his own. He has his moments throughout the series and he has developed a lot in these 8 episodes. But he's a whiny bitch, rightfully so, but it's still annoying sometimes. But that is what makes him a good MC. While everyone else is perfectly fine with all the supernatural stuff, he is the one who is always hesitant and worried about everyone. Which is something I do like. He's been a solid character so far, and for sure has a lot of development left to go. Yayoi is probably my favorite character. Firstly, she's a badass, but also, she has a lot of problems that enhance her character a lot. I think her backstory makes her character very tragic, and the fact that she got this strong only because she was looking for her dead mother is something that enhances her character as well. She's a very well written genius character that is a lot of fun to see interact on screen. Oh, and she is also the funniest one in the group by far. Eiko is an interesting character. At first I thought she was going to be a good supporting character who was going to be there for the MC and help him grow as a person. And I still think this is the case, except now I know that she is batshit insane and has her own issues to try to fix herself. But she's a fun character to have around, especially when she is with Yayoi and messing with the main character. Those are always some of the best moments for sure. Dark Gathering is an amazing series that I did not expect to like as well as I do. This series has done a very good job at mixing a compelling story with interesting characters with horror and comedy mixed in. I don't know what about this series I like so much in comparison to other anime, especially in the horror genre, but it's just so good.